Today we will talk about the most relevant events in the world. In our program, conflict in Ukraine unlikely to end this year. Ukrainian army deserters on rise in various areas of DPR line of engagement. Any chance for independent Ukraine ended after Odessa tragedy. Russian forces wipe out vehicle with one of Ukraine's top brass. And so let's get started. Russian forces have eliminated an armored vehicle presumably carrying commander of Ukraine's territorial defense forces Igor Tantsura, Yevgeny Prigozhin, the founder of the Wagner private military company, said on Tuesday. Today at 1:25 p.m., as the artillery units of the Wagner PMC with reserves were coming in from the Chasov Yar populated locality to the Bakhmut populated locality, an armored vehicle was eliminated presumably with commander of territorial defense forces of the Ukrainian army Igor Ivanovich Tantsura inside, who was heading to Bakhmut. Prigozhin's press service quoted him as saying on Telegram, "Currently we are clarifying this information," Prigozhin added, vowing to give more information later. Earlier, the Wagner founder said that Ukrainian troops were getting ready to launch a counteroffensive before May 15th. Any chance of an independent Ukraine ended after its government allowed the 2014 tragedy in an Odessa Union Center to happen, Kherson Region Interim Governor Vladimir Saldo said on Tuesday. The barbaric burning of people by Ukrainian Nazis in the House of Trade Unions in Odessa on May 2, 2014 was a watershed moment after which the so-called independent Ukraine in its current form doomed itself to extinction, he said on Telegram. According to the official, it was after the fire in the House of Trade Unions that dozens of Kherson activists left their homes to take part in the Donbass hostilities. Every year on May 2, Kherson residents bring flowers to the Potemkin monument in the capital of the Kherson region in memory of the victims of those events. Saldo said the current Ukrainian state will either radically change or sink into oblivion as a mistake of history. Odessa tragedy. Radicals from the right sector attacked a tent camp on the Kulikovo field in Odessa on May 2, 2014, where activists opposing the Maidan uprising were collecting signatures for a referendum on the federalization of Ukraine and giving the Russian language status as a state language. Supporters of federalization took refuge in the House of Trade Unions, but the radicals surrounded the building and set it on fire. According to official data from the Ukrainian Interior Ministry, 48 people were killed, and more than 240 were injured in those events. The government pinned the blame for the riots solely on the opponents of the uprising. However, the investigation, which lasted several years, could not prove their guilt in court. As a result, all those who were initially detained in the case were later acquitted. The number of deserters from Ukraine's armed forces in various areas of the line of engagement in the Donetsk People's Republic is growing, Yen Gajin, an advisor to acting DPR head Denis Pushilin, told TASS on Tuesday. In various sections of the front line, attempts by Ukrainian servicemen to leave the combat zone are being registered more and more often. "I cannot say that this is a mass phenomenon," the official said. According to him, Ukrainian troops are trying to leave the line of engagement disguised as civilians. One of the most vivid examples is the story of a Ukrainian serviceman, Stanislav, from Artyomovsk. He deserted from the Ukrainian army in May 2022, when Ukrainian troops began to shell his native Artyomovsk and was in hiding for nearly a year, taking refuge in a cellar until servicemen from the Wagner private military company evacuated him. According to Stanislav, a Ukrainian artillery crew deployed not far from his unit shelled the residence of a local man after the latter refused to billet them in his home. Currently, the Ukrainian serviceman is living at a temporary housing center in the DPR.